Let's try this again. Okay, let me see. I need someone to come and check the chat. Okay. Fuck. I don't even know if it's gonna be, if it's even working. I don't even know. I don't even know. I might have to reset my whole computer. Who fucking knows? I know what I'll do. Go to my channel. Go to my channel. Oh, I can hear it. Okay, cool. Oh, I can hear. Okay, I hope people figure out that I'm coming here. That I'm over here. Oh, I hate to let this keep running and there's no one even here. Hold on, guys. You know what? If you're watching this now, just talk amongst yourselves. Oh, sweet. Okay. Hi, Johnkins. You can hear me now, right? I'm just trying to go and put the new share thing in my post because I put the other link in my post. So we're going to go ahead. Yes. Oh, that's so great. That's great news. Okay, I'm going to delete that. Okay, so anyone who is watching in the future, apologize. It's taking me a while to get going here. Okay, there's the live stream ticket. Oh, God help me. Okay. Okay. Welcome, Johnkins. And whoever else is out there watching. All right, I'm here today because I couldn't wait any longer. Oh gosh, there's a lot. But first, let's talk about the election. Who wants to talk about the election results real quick? Who was so happy to find out that Donald Trump was the 47th president-elect of the United States? I know that I was super happy about it. I feel really bad, though. I do, for all the people out there that really think that he is gonna just absolutely wreck the world, like, because you can see that those people's hurt is very real for them, so okay, I'm glad. Okay, people are showing up. All right. Things got messed up, guys. I knew it was going to happen because my cat messed with my mic cord earlier when I had everything set up, and I was like, oh shit, like this is going to be bad. I was like, because last time that happened, the mic didn't work, so I had a feeling. Anyway, I was so happy to see that Trump fucking won. It was about time. And technically, all right, hold on, I'm just looking. Hold on. Oh, Braden's over here. He says he was excited he got in. Yeah, so he's from Canada, so that's why he's like saying he's excited for that. Hopefully you'll get your Trump soon. All the problems are gone, I know, right? Let's hope, God willing. At least I feel like we're on that road to where we could actually maybe move past what Trump even symbolizes for people. Because here's the thing. Okay. So he really won 3 times. I don't care what anyone says. Okay. Like, he got voted in 3 times. Everyone knows that, he lost in 2020. Okay. But if you look at the graph, all right, this is what blew my mind for people that like really want to understand what happened in 2020. All right. If you look at the graph, suddenly the amount of Democratic voters compared to the amount of Democratic voters that vote on average from 2012, 2016, 2020, 2024, it skyrocketed 20 million voters. Where did those voters come from? People? Like, that's what, and it's starting to break people down a little bit to like really see that type of information, because I even saw an X post where someone who was a liberal was saying like, how did we not show up this time the way we did in 2020? And it's like, oh, like the comments were like, oh, you're so close. Oh man, you're almost there, but it's going to destroy your 2020 narrative, right? It's going to destroy it. Because it is, because they freaking stole it. because we all know what happened. We all fell asleep. I remember I fell asleep peacefully the night of the election night of 2020. I thought, oh, Trump's got this. He's got it. And everyone, we all woke up to the fact that they wheeled in ballot boxes full of mail-in votes at 3 a.m. And sure as shit, no one was going to let that happen this time. Too big to rig. That's what he called it, right? Too big to rig. No one was going to let that happen again this time. We had our eyes open. People were on the ground. Citizen journalists were out there making sure that they were keeping an eye on all that type of stuff. So that, I don't know, it just made me feel really good, almost vindicated, almost justice. But, I already knew this was coming. And I mentioned it on the Typical Skeptic podcast that I was on, I think a week or two ago at this point. I don't know, so you'll have to bear with me on this one. But I knew he was going to win because of the astrology, because of the Vedic astrology. Now, here's the thing. Vedic astrology is a little bit different than Western astrology, but for some reason, when I hear it, it translates better for me. I don't know. It's like it suddenly means something for me. So I went with this woman, and I was listening to her, and she was talking about how Trump and J.D. Vance are both Leo ascendants. Okay. And so because they're both Leo ascendants, Jupiter and all these other benefic planets were all going to be in his 10th house, and both, because they're both Leo ascendants, it was both in their 10th houses, which is the house of government. Okay. So for me, automatically, as soon as I heard Jupiter was in there, I was like, oh, Jupiter's blessing has been given and Trump is going to win. He's in, because I was a little nervous. They stole it last time. Had we fixed the problems of what happened last time, this time? I didn't know, but there was another indicator too that I didn't mention on that show because I didn't know it at that point. But Kamala Harris, her chart too, actually had an aspect to the moon. Okay. Where this aspect was the same aspect to the moon that Trump's chart had in 2020 when he lost. Okay. So not only was it showing Jupiter for Trump and Vance going to win, okay, but it was showing Kamala with the same aspect that Donald Trump lost the election on. Right? Okay. Oh, is that Victor? Hi, Victor. I just want everyone to know. I just want to give him a shout out right now because I changed my picture on my YouTube page. He made it for me. So that new picture on the top of my face, on my YouTube page, what is it called? It's called like a cover, I think it's called. The cover picture. Yeah, he was the one that made that. And I just wanted to say thank you because it was so beautiful. Yeah, the banner. Yeah, I think that's what it is. It's called the banner. Anyway, it was so beautiful, and he helped me fix it and line it up just right so that way I could get it to work. And I couldn't be happier with it because, that I did struggle with finding a picture for that. You know what I'm saying? Okay. But anyway, back to the election stuff because I want to go over this election stuff, and then I want to get into what I actually came to talk about, what I've been waiting to talk about for, I don't know, a very long time. It feels like forever at this point. Okay. So, but yeah, last time when all that stuff was going on with the election, I was doing some magical things at that time. I don't know. I felt it on election day when I woke up the next day. Well, here's the thing. I also woke up, and I don't know if anyone else had this, but I woke up at 2:30 in the morning. Okay. Here's how election night played out for me. I'm laying in bed. I'm watching, a podcast, and they're going over there, they're keeping an eye on everything, and they're going, oh, he's going up, it's going down, he's going up. And I was like, you know what? No, I'm not riding this roller coaster. So I just said to God, no. I said, my timeline, Trump's transition is smooth. His win is clear. I don't want none of this drama. And I went to sleep. And I woke up on my own somehow at 2:30, right as the podcast that I still had running because I fell asleep watching it, right as the guy who was running the podcast goes, Trump won. I woke up right when he won. So it was like the energy of all of us who were sitting there staying up watching, because hell no, were we all going to be going to sleep like we did in 2020 and wake up at 3 a.m. finding that something had gone crazy, right? So we weren't going to do that this time. We were going to stay awake. We were going to watch it. We're going to follow it through. Okay, not me, obviously, because I was sleeping, doing some work in the astral. Okay, because I could feel the map. It was crazy. I was like going into this meditative state. All right. And I was looking at the United States, and I was seeing the states represented by, they would turn on certain colors. They would turn on blue or red, right? So I kept seeing Pennsylvania and Michigan, and they were starting to turn blue. And so I just was like meditating, and I was just like, all we really need is Pennsylvania at this point. I thought it was what I heard too. Like, all we need is Pennsylvania. So I just kept imagining, boom, it's red. Not only that, but I live in Michigan, so I kind of wanted Michigan to be red too. I was kind of a little disappointed if it was going to be blue. So I was like, no, these two are going to be red. Above all else, these two are going to be red. These two are going to be red. Okay. And I went to sleep. Okay. And like I said, I woke up, he had won. Yay. Now, why would I even mention that, doing that? Because I have other experiences from the past election where I know that I have an ability to influence this matrix, this reality, whatever you want to call it. Okay. And I'll tell you exactly how. January 6th. Okay, so after all that stuff happened and they basically stole the election from us, January 6th rolled around, and obviously I had a lot of friends that attended the January 6th gathering. Insurrection, right? The insurrection. There's something else I was going to mention here very quickly. I'm trying to see if I can pull it back. I had a friend there. Her name's Jennifer Constantine. Okay, this is one of my first big confirmations, I guess you could say, for, maybe there's something to this meditating stuff. It couldn't be the 100 of other synchronicities that I got with, creating light pillars in certain places in the world. And then I'll go online and I would find light pillars cited, a picture of them in the place, in the city or in the state that I was imagining these. Like, I have all these experiences, but I am very skeptical. And I have a hard time. I don't know. It's like convincing the human that these magical things are real, that they really can't really understand. Sometimes it's a little difficult. Okay. But this is why we look for confirmations, right? This is why we look for the confirmations. So, and I apologize for not like totally reading the chat right now, but I'm on a roll right now. I'm flowing, and I will get back to the chat. So just please keep typing in the chat and communicating with me here. I will check it. I do read the chats afterward. So anyway, so how might I think that because I'm not alone here. I know that from a very special dream I had, that God told me that this world, the new earth that was coming, was going to need strong and powerful leaders. And I said, powerful how? And they said, willpower. Okay. That stuck out to me. Okay. And I took that to heart. And so at this point in my life on January 6th, okay, I've been through some of what I'm going to go through story-wise with you guys today to build up this belief in myself. And my friend Jenny had posted this video saying that how scared she was. She woke up at like 6 a.m. She said the energy was really bad. It was like a trap. It was like a setup, right? And so I could feel it. And immediately I was inspired, okay, at this point. And I still do try to live like this, okay? Whenever my heart is inspired to do something, I try to lean into it. I try to trust God, and I try to go with that. And you know what? And I have another example. We're going to put that to the side. All right. So she said she was scared. I knew a bunch of my friends were down there. So what did I do? I got up. I just started my dancing. Okay. Regularly. I started envisioning a bubble over top of the entire area that all these people were at, to keep them safe. Okay. I imagined it to be like, I took the example from Harry Potter. Okay. And the last scene, and the scene where they're defending the school, and all the witches and the wizards, they get together and they point up to the sky and they make it safe for the students. Right. So this was my intention, and this is what I was doing. And I continued to do that for the entire time that she was there, on and off. Okay. And so the second thing that I did, and I did get a confirmation for that, I'm going to tell you about that in a second. The second thing that I wanted to do, though, was Trump was going to speak that day. And on the podium, okay, it was a cloudy day. And I wanted the sun to shine on him when he spoke. That is what I wanted to see. Okay. And so, again, I go into my dancing. All right. And I'm imagining the clouds, they're parting, and the sunlight is coming down, and it's shining on Trump. And this is a glorious day. This is a glorious day. We're gonna take back what they stole. Obviously, we didn't get a chance to do that, but that was my intention. At the very least, I want the sun to shine on him. Well, would you not know this? I found out later on that same friend of mine, Jenny Constantine, okay, she was there personally, like a couple rows back from the stage of Trump giving the speech. And so she said the weirdest thing happened. She said, out of nowhere, around the same time that I was doing this dancing and asking for the sun to shine through, some Christians pulled her over to them and said, pray with us to make the sun shine so that the sun will shine on Trump when he gives his speech. Not only that, but I found out when I actually met her in person, because I hadn't even really met her in person yet. I met her in person a couple months after that, and I told her about it, because when I do these things, there's no, I mean, maybe not no greater joy, but it's one of the best joys for me if I do this kind of manifestation. I do this plead to God, please do this thing for me, and then I get confirmation. It's like I just want to tell people, it's like you get so excited. I just want to tell the person that I did this thing. I asked for this thing for them, and it happened. And oh my God, so I was telling Jenny, her, like, this is what I did. This was my intention. This is what my heart wanted for you guys to be safe. And I described to her the scene, okay, that I was doing with the bubble over top. And she said, that is literally my favorite scene of all the Harry Potter books, all the Harry Potter movies. That's literally my favorite scene. And she started crying. Okay. And I was just like, wow. Okay. So I'm actually possibly doing something here. Like this, it always goes back to this. Maybe I'm doing something. I don't know. Maybe. I don't know. Maybe. I don't know. So that is why this time around, I decided to, I'm just going to go back into leaning into that, because I kind of fell back away from following my heart as much because of experiences that I've had between now and then. And so I kind of, and that's what's going to lead in to the story that we're about to go into, because it truly is a multiverse of madness that I fucking live in. I swear to God. And, I'm always telling you guys, like I'm telling you about these manifestations that I do, and I'm being like, you don't understand. Like I've seen crazy things just right before my eyes. I've seen magic, I've seen miracles, I do these heart wishes and things happen as a result of these heart wishes, so we're going to talk about my first major heart wish today, which is something I never thought I would actually talk about. Honestly, I'm alive, quite honestly. But, well, let me just tell you how this all started. So, for the past year, we'll start here. For the past year, I have been going through a tower experience, you could say. Okay? I had built a tower up of belief in myself and who I am, and it all came shattering down when I lost my home, my dream home, my fairy kingdom, so to speak. Okay. And when this happened, this traumatic event, I put it all away. See, this is going to be hard for me today. So just give me a little bit of energetic support here, because I don't want to cry throughout this entire thing. And I kind of have a little bit of a hard time not crying about this stuff, because it's so meaningful and personal, but it's time to tell it. So I put all that stuff away. I put my manifestations away. I put the world that I had been living in away. I stopped talking to my guides. I stopped listening to music. I couldn't even listen to music anymore. One of the very things that I had built this person, this blue fairy, that is what built me, was these beautiful music synchronicities and magic, and the meaning that they made me feel inside, what music could inspire a person to feel. And I had gone through a very long period in the past of darkness where I didn't actually hear my guides for 10 years. And I'll tell you why real quick. We'll briefly mention this. And it was because of an initiation request. See, I'd read this book called Initiation by Elizabeth Heitch, and it went through it. It sparked in me a remembrance of an ancient Egyptian life. where basically one of the initiations apparently that they used to do in ancient Egypt was they would shut you down from talking to your guides for 10 years. They would keep you in the dark for 10 years. You would basically, essentially, from what they described, from what I remember, is you would go work in the bottom of the pit of the pyramid, and for 10 years you would have to work in this pit of the pyramid, and you would have no connection with your guides. And so back in my 20s, I thought to myself, I love God so much, I could do that. I could survive that. I would never turn my back on God or you guys. Even if I didn't hear from you for 10 years, I know you're so real that I'd survive it. Well, they gave me that wish. And I did not hear from them for 10 years. And it was the darkest period of my life. And when I got out of it, my heart had died. My heart had essentially been encased in a black goo, and it had a little crack coming out of it where blue light was shining, right? I saw that in a meditation after 10 years when they finally came back and they started talking to me again. The 10 years was when my soul braid walking came. When my daughter, I was pregnant with her. And I've taught a lot of this stuff, just so you know, if you've been watching me for a while, you'll have heard some of it. Okay, but we're about to get into some of the details I have not gotten into before. But I need to set it up for you and walk you up to the point where I made this heart wish, so that way you can understand what this was like for me, right? Okay. So I had asked for help, right? Well, actually, you know what? There's something we forgot. We forgot to get back into that, and then we're going to get back to that part. Okay. So, listening to my gut, right? How hard is it for us to just listen to our gut when spirit tells us something the first time? Why is it so hard to just not listen the first time? I literally was door dashing. You know, I door dash full time. I was literally door dashing the other day. And I went into this restaurant and I saw my order, and there was a guy standing next to it. There were 2 orders there, and I needed to go to the bathroom. I touched my order so the guy could know it was mine, and I left it on the table because why would I want to take my order to the bathroom? And Spirit said, he's going to steal your order. I was like, no, why would he do that? You know, I go to the bathroom, come back, my order is stolen. So when am I going to start actually listening? It's so hard. It's so hard to just trust and believe in yourself. So back to, I put my world away, right? I went through this trauma. My tower moment happened. Everything came crashing down. I put it all away. I'm done. I'm done. Burnt out. Can't do it anymore. All I could do was distract myself. It's not that I didn't want to check back into that world. It's not that I just didn't feel it. I couldn't feel the blue fairy anymore. I couldn't feel the blue fairy in me. And I've admitted that even here before. Like, I felt like she died. And here I was, I had been entrusted by spirit and given the heart of the blue fairy. And now here I made these choices and I made these decisions. And now look where I'm at again. You know, and I was like so upset. And so I would reach out to my guides, apparently. I would reach out to my main guide that stays over here on my right. I call him Mr. Universe. I reach out to him and I would say to him, like, go find her. Like, where is she? Where is she? You know, like, I need her back. I can't live without her. Like, oh my God, I'm so, like, music. I couldn't even listen to music. What is this? This isn't life. This isn't living. And so I would go into a meditative state and I would ask, where's the blue fairy? You know, and I would see her. I would see myself, right? In this picture, I would see myself as a dark forest. It was night. She was next to a tree. She's on the ground. She's crying. She's like this, with her hands on the ground. And she's crying. So I would tell my guide, I would go get her. Like, I see her. Like, I see her. She's in that forest. And I would see him approach her. In my mind, I would see this. And he would go try to touch her shoulder. And she was like, no. I don't want anyone to ever touch me again. She was so upset. And I was like, oh, this is not good. This is not good. this is not good, but I kept pushing forward and I kept just trying to be like, okay, well, you know what? I'm just going to have to keep living as Cassandra, the human Cassandra, right? We're just going to keep pushing forward. And I kept doing my streams and I kept doing my tarot and hoping that I would find a way to fix it. And to my prayers answered here, I guess you could say, it came back. She came back. I had to go and get her. Because the force she was in was the backyard of my old house, the house that I lost, my dream home, my fairy kingdom. That is where she was at. And when I, by chance encounter here, because of really bad circumstances, right? My son going into the hospital and finding out that his supplies were still at the old house. I was able to go back to the house for the first time. And I went to that backyard and I touched Esmeralda and I hugged her. And I got the blue fairy back. That's where she was at. And I was so happy. I was so happy to have her back. And so we came back home. And for days, I was just like, thank God. Music started to feel again. I could listen to music and I actually had feelings for music again. I was like, oh, thank God. Thank God. And so I start remembering all the things, like Spirit starts saying, like, remember all the things. Do you remember? Do you remember all the things, all the magical things that inspired you to be the blue fairy? Do you remember what those were? And so I started bringing back out my world. I started bringing one thing back out at a time. Okay, let's look at this again. Let's look at it again. Let's look at it with new eyes, And I actually started to open up a little bit about some of the things that I've never shared with people, to my best friends. I started to tell them some of it. Things that I just was like really nervous to ever share with people, And I was getting ready to go pick up my son from work. And I said, you know what? Okay. You know what? If all this was real and all these things I'm remembering and we're pulling back and we're relooking at them and we're reminding myself of all the magic, if all of that was real, if Mr. Universe over here, this person who has told me so much, shared so much information with me that has pretty much been accurate every fucking time, if all that is real, I said, you're going to manifest me a double rainbow before I get to my son's work. I said, if it's real, I said, because I'm going to tell them. I'm going to tell them all. I'm like, they're back now. Okay, we're back. We're all back. Okay, well, if it was real and I'm on the right track now, okay, manifest this double rainbow. So I drive to my son's work. By the time I get to my son's work, I had not seen a double rainbow. I was like, well, shit. Okay, I guess I was just crazy, right? Because it's always I gotta be crazy. I just gotta be crazy. Well, my son Joshua had text messaged me. Okay, he had text messaged me on my way to drop off my son. And what did he send me? A picture of a double rainbow over top of my house. I was like, well, there you have it. There you have it. It's real. You're real. I'm real. We're here. We've been doing this thing. We've been doing all these things together. And you know what? I'm tired of pretending that I did it. I'm tired of pretending, tired of not sharing all of it, and I got real excited and I came back, and I'm pretty sure I started to mention, I got something I'm working on. And that's really what I said. Okay. And because this is what I said to him after that. I said, okay, listen, I said, you're going to have to tell me the words and the labels to use then. I said, if you want me to share this stuff with people, then I need you to give me the words and the labels. You're going to need to explain to me again exactly what happened. And he said something really funny to me, actually. He said, I thought you'd never ask. Wow. Okay, buddy. Thought I'd never ask. Okay, I'm laughing. This guy, he's the funniest guy in the world. Anyway, so he starts to tell me. He starts to tell me that that he got to that who he is, right? Yeah, he is living a human life, right? He got to the end of his human life, all right? And he looked back at my timeline, and he looked at all the, he's got to see the truth. See, because in death, we can go look at all that stuff, right? We can go look at the timeline. Okay, and he'd been telling me this for some time. I just was like, I'm just crazy. I'm just making this stuff up. Okay, so he said he got to the end of his life. He looked back. He saw the truth about all of these things that I had shared. Okay, all these things that I'd done, all the truth, things I didn't even share. Okay, and he saw it all. And I was like, oh, wow. He's like, do you remember when you said this? I'm like, yeah. Remember when you said this? Remember when you said this? I'm like, oh my God. Like, you saw all of that. You saw all of it. Wow. Oh my God. And I'm like, and you're right. Yeah, I remember that. Yes, I totally fucking remember that, you know? And I'm going to tell you some of those things. I'm going to tell you, okay? But in a nutshell, the gist of it, before we get into that first heart wish, okay, the thing that stood out to me the most about what he was conveying to me was you realize that there's this one piece of the puzzle that you refused to let yourself believe. And it was because you refused to let yourself have this one piece of the puzzle, which ultimately was the keystone. This is the keystone of my tower. Okay, he said, because you wouldn't put that into place, this is why the tower fell. He said, and now maybe you can see that not only was this the keystone, but that every manifestation that you did after that, truly, in part, was to prove to yourself that you did this one manifestation first. Yeah, it's true. Like, that's I can see that. I can definitely see that. That's definitely true. Okay. So, hold on. I'm just gonna briefly take this off. I'm getting a little warm now. I decided to dress my most comfy cozy today so that I could get through this. Okay. So another part of that was just mind blowing to me at that point, because I was like, wow, like this is true, you know. Yeah. So the tower moment, right? The tower is, you know, it's just crazy how we've literally been explaining my life to me in different tarot cards. It's like I literally, like the entire way through going over my story, it's been like, and this was that tarot card, and this was that tarot card, and this was that card, you know. And this tarot card moment, it just so happens that that day, okay, when I came to the realization that I was in this, I'd been in this tower state, all right, I had found a video, and it was discussing the esoteric meanings, the deeper meanings behind the tower card. Okay, and this guy was describing it, and it was called Lighting the Void. That was the name of the channel. And I saw it really early in the morning, and I put it on my like to watch list, and then I'd forgotten about it. But later on, I was driving that day, and suddenly it popped into my mind. And as it popped into my mind, I look over, and the street name was Tower. So I was like, okay, this is the time to watch this video. So I watched this video, and literally it was blowing my mind. Boom, 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 boom. It clicked for me the most, though, when it came to the movie The Holy Mountain. Okay? The Tower card and The Holy Mountain. It suddenly made sense to me. It was like, boom. Oh my God, the meanings behind The Holy Mountain. Oh my God, I always knew it was a representation of the human journey, right? The human journey of actual self-actualization, enlightenment, finding yourself. Truly, though, ultimately, I think it comes down to the ultimate goal for all of us, okay, is to not kill the ego. I think people got that wrong. Killing the ego is not the way to go. It's not about killing the ego. It's about getting your higher self to merge with your ego personality. Is called, in fact, Aleister Crowley called it the chemical wedding. Lisa Renee calls it the sacred marriage. Okay, like that's what this whole thing is all about, because the body, it's own thing too, right? Like we have to work together. The spirit and the body have to work together, and the body has its own free will. All right, your spirit has to be let in. You have to consent to your higher self coming down to merge. You have to get to a certain place, a certain level where you're wanting to meet yourself at that depth. You know, and when did that happen for me? Well, that happened for me with my soul braid walking. In that moment, when I had been broken down to my lowest, and I was like, I'm done. You know, I can't do this alone. I know I can't do this alone. God, like you have to help me if I'm going to have any hopes of getting out of this, right? Okay. So the tower, the holy mountain. The beginning of people's journeys, they start off like very hedonistic. They're the fool, right? They're full of potential. They don't know what they have the potential to do, but they have all of it right in front of them. Okay. And in the holy mountain, he goes, this guy, okay, he's going through and he's exploring the world, and he has his little sidekick with him, which I feel like is like the ego. Okay, that's the ego that you're carrying around with you, you know, the child desires of the body, you know, I need to be, mommy feed me, mommy clothe me, that type of stuff. Okay. And eventually he starts to see not just play and fun, but he starts to see death and decay. And just kind of like the story of the Buddha when he leaves the palace for the first time and he sees death, right? And that inspires him to go on his journey to find out, how do I end suffering? Okay. Well, in the holy mountain, this is represented by a man being lured, okay, to a fishing hook with some bread and fish on it and stuff like that. And he's like, you know, he'd been wandering through this town and he'd been seeing all these sights. And then he gets to this tower and the fishing hook is down there. Now I get it now. The fishing hook, okay, is the lure of the higher self asking you to rise up to meet it. All right. I feel like the bread and the food and stuff like that on the fishing hook, all right, those are some of the spiritual treasures that one might come across, things that are unexplainable that might make you be like, how did that happen? A synchronicity, maybe even. If something lures you to this point, all right, and then you climb above that, you climb onto that hook and you get pulled up. Okay, in the movie, he gets pulled up right into the tower where he meets the alchemist, who's all in white and is moving very slow and deliberately, where this untrained version of the human, okay, is wild like an animal, and he tries to fight this alchemist, but the alchemist is really symbolic when he's in white of the higher self. Okay, so he has to find a way to subdue this wild man and his instincts to fight. Like that's what you have to do. You have to subdue that part of you to accept, you know what, maybe I do need direction. Maybe I do need guidance in a different form, right? And then he goes on to perform the process of turning shit into gold, right? Basically. All right, so you're going to take your past traumas, which is the shit, and you're going to turn that into gold. You're going to turn that into the full blossoming of your ego personality, which was also given to you by God when you were born into this body, genetically, right? That's, hi guys. Just want to say hi real quick. Sorry, saw Joanna distracted me for a second. Okay, so that begins the process. Once the person, the ego, finally says, you know what? And that's what I had reached at that point in my life when I was pregnant with my daughter. I'd said, enough. This isn't getting me anywhere. I'm fighting with my higher self, and they're 2 steps ahead of me every single time, you know, and I don't want to do that anymore. I want to work with God. I want to work within God's channel. I want to do not just what this human body wants. I want to do what God would want me to do. And it was sincere, and it was pure, and it was true. And that's why my call got answered, because I was at that point where spirit could tell I was ready. Okay. And so my higher self, or my soul braid walk-in, another version of me, a higher version of me, which showed up as a white reptilian. Okay. They told me my heart had been taken by Anubis. My heart had died. It was encased in this black goo. There was a crack in it. There was light shining out. they said we could become one. Isn't that interesting? They said we could become one. That's what the whole chemical wedding, sacred marriage is about. So we could become one. And then they could help me. They could help me rise up. And of course, human Cassandra had questions, and they were patient with me, you know, and this is why I felt safe to trust my this other version of me, or my soul braid walk-in. I felt safe with them. And I just said, you know, as long as Cassandra gets to come along, because if we're going to merge as one, I just don't feel like it should be fair that she went through all this suffering and not get to come along. I didn't realize that when we become one, this part of me, this version of me that's Cassandra, even when I leave this body behind, I'm taking this part, I'm taking that with me. It's going to be added to the higher self of me, along with all of the lifetimes that I have lived and all of the lifetimes that I will live. Because time's really happening all at once. Boom, it's done. It's over. You know, we're just walking through it. We're just walking through it. Okay, so all these timelines, all these things exist all at once, and it's our God consciousness that is directing what it is that we're going to see and what we choose to see. Okay, so this happens. All right, hold on. I do have notes to keep me a little bit in line. Okay, yep. So the next step was my higher self decided to go ahead and get me to accidentally buy a book called A Course in Miracles Made Easy. Okay, this is a very important part of this process here. Other people will find these things in maybe in other books, other spiritual methods. You know, the Law of One is one of them. Let's see, the Course in Miracles. There's other ones too, like Lisa Renee's stuff. Like there's so many different ways to get to the same place. But for me, this is what worked for me. A Course in Miracles, and let me tell you, did it teach me how to see miracles? Truly. All right, so I bought a book, and it was basically like, you know, this is made for dummies. Okay, Course in Miracles made for dummies. I read it. And basically it said in one whole chapter, it just said, do the workbook, do the workbook, do the workbook, do the workbook. So I said, okay, fine. It convinced me. I'd already accidentally bought it. I was vibing with it. I'm going to do the workbook. The workbook basically began to deprogram me, okay, from my past experiences, my past traumas. It began to unlock my mind so that way I could be more accommodating to God consciousness inside this vessel. I'm going to go over some of those lessons with you in a second. Okay, I also began detoxing my body. I began meditating. I began doing Qigong. Okay, like all these things. And these are represented in the Holy Mountain in regards to when they bathe him, when the alchemist bathes the man. Okay, and he gets him all clean. All right, and especially clean in the bottom area, because that's your root chakra. That needs to be fully cleaned in order to do this process. Okay, so I had gone through these things, and I started creating these manifestation pages, okay, where I basically decided, you know what, if I'm going to be here, okay, if I'm going to be living on this planet, then I might as well make it an adventure, you know, like, in fact, I even had a dream where they told me I came here with people as a warrior adventurer, a warrior adventurer. So we were fighters and we were adventurers. Okay, hold on. I'm trying to get to the one part. I'm just trying to find it. Okay. Okay. 1 second. Okay. Yep. There it is. Okay. I'm just looking for the part with the Course in Miracles. I want to go over that part. Okay. Okay. Here it is. Okay. So as I was doing this Course in Miracles and detoxing, meditating, and doing all this stuff, new abilities began to unlock. Okay, this will unlock things in you. I discovered I was naturally a remote viewer. I was naturally telepathic at communicating with people. Okay, at one point, I was just contemplating, all right, the fact that I had seen this post where it was talking about if you zoom in on a blade of grass, it shows like a smiley face or something like that. And it was because it's scalar waves or something. And so I was contemplating that, and I felt this buzz in my third eye, like someone took a drill and literally drilled through it. And I know now, I feel like that was the decalcification that had happened. Okay. And as I walked outside, I felt that. And as I walked outside to get my son at the time from school, I saw this pink light on my arms and on my foot. And I was like, where is this pink light coming from? And I'm looking above, I'm looking in the clouds. I'm thinking, it's not sunset. Why is there pink light shining on me? You know? And that was when I realized it was coming from me. That light was coming from me. I unlocked something. My crown chakra, I'm guessing, had opened up. And yeah, I was seeing my aura, which if it was pink, then to me, that represents spiritual love. And that comes from the book Initiation as well, where she goes over all the colors and what they mean. She even wrote a book on tarot, and I read that whole book too. And you know, it's I do love the esoteric studies of tarot. So I definitely do recommend that to anyone looking to understand that stuff more. Elizabeth Heitch, that's who did the book. Anyway, so to get back to what we're doing, the Course in Miracles. So what the Course in Miracles taught me, which, and this is why I keep trying to push this to people, not push it, but like, you know, like there's people that I know that I've had in my life that see what I have. They see the connection I have. They want that connection with God. I tell them these magical stories, these magical things happen to me, and they're like, man, I want that type of stuff to happen to me too. And guess what? I also want that type of stuff to happen to you too. I want that stuff to happen to you. I want you to feel that connection with God. I want you to have someone to talk to all the time, even when you're alone, physically. You know, like I want that. I want companionship for people. I want humanity to be happy. Because we're really all one being, right? That's what I had learned in my 20s. We're all one. You know, they showed me the tree of life, and they showed me all the leaves on it, and they pointed to one, and they said, that's you. And they pointed to another, and they said, that's this other person that you love. And you see the energy as it transfers into the leaf, to the branch, the other leaf. Like, we're all connected. We're all one. You know, that is the first test the book Initiation talks about, is that the first test they would give you when you entered the schools in Egypt, all right, was you were supposed to meditate on a tree. And after long enough, you should come to the conclusion that you are the tree. That was what the test was. Okay. And that brings me back to another point before I get into this Course in Miracles stuff. You know, there was a time in Earth's history where kings and queens of the world actually did rule it for the better of the people. You know, like the fall happened, right? But before the fall, it wasn't just like anyone could just get up in there and be a king or queen. No, you had to go through initiation steps. You had to go through processes in order to be worthy of that, to be worthy of that title, in order to raise your consciousness level, your frequency, to the place where you could be at the level of a God man. See, that's why I feel like they after the fall, they twisted it. Humans twisted it, and they tried their best to a certain extent to describe and to keep going on with what they had known. I feel like ultimately is what it is. But you know, these kings and queens of the past, you know, like, so if we could be at this higher level, this God man frequency, yes, maybe humans that were not that high up in frequency would be like, oh, you're a God, you know, but as a God man, you would know I am not the God. I'm not even a God. I am part of God, like all of you. I've just trained this vessel and initiated this vessel in a way, frequency wise, to where I can see a higher perspective, a higher vantage point. So that way I can make better decisions about what's going on with all of you and help lead the way. That's what leadership is all about. Like having what is the best intentions, the best interests in heart for the people, you know, kings and queens, they cared about their people, you know, but people who maybe work at that level, just like children, they see something, they want it, they don't understand what it means to have it. And then the fall starts to happen because then they start going after things that they haven't prepared for properly. positions they haven't prepared for properly, you know? And so they started taking over and calling themselves kings and queens without even being initiated. Anyway, that's part of what I've been thinking about lately. That's what, it makes me sad because I know I've been around that long. I know I saw it, I've been back there. I saw the fall. I'm here now with you guys. Times happened all at once. It's so real to me. Even when I tap back into these things, it's like I'm there. We're like time traveling in our mind. We're going there. Anyway, back to the Course in Miracles. So the Course in Miracles helped me, all right, to get free from the first layer of control programming. All right, it taught me that everything that I see has meaning to me. And that first, I need to recognize that all I see is the past. Everything that you look about and you see around you, you have given the things its meaning to you based on your past experiences with it. Okay? This is not true seeing. And it actually ultimately leads to feeling unfulfilled and without purpose, because it's God who gives us our purpose. Okay? You must be willing. This is what Course in Miracles taught me, right? You must be willing to accept that as a human vessel, you're incapable of perceiving your own best interests. That's what it taught me. It broke me down, and I had to recognize that. If I had been able to perceive my own best interests, how did I end up in the position that I was in at my lowest point? But everything has a purpose and a meaning at this point, so it all guided me to realize this. Okay, so as a human, okay, yes, as a human, we cannot see all that our higher self or God or spirit can see. So if you want true sight and the true forms of things, such as true love, true happiness, true friendship, true joy, true meaning and purpose, you must be willing to let God show you what those things actually mean. Because the meaning you're giving those things is quite unfulfilling, is it not? You must be willing to let go and accept that, yes, all I see is the past. So if I let all that go and I let God show me what something means, what will he show you? Ultimately, I think he'll show you that the only real thing in this world is love. Honestly. But you have to come to this on your own accord. Okay? You have to come to this conclusion on your own. You have to truly desire to be one with God. You have to do it with determination and sincerity of intent. And that is the biggest issue I feel like I come across with people who want the magic that I share, the magical experiences. They want those things. You have to be willing to give up this ideal that you know what things mean and what actions to take. And gosh, I can't get that through enough. Okay, so it was my sincerity of intent, obviously, at the beginning of my soul braid walk-in process that led to my sacred marriage, which was all I really wanted. Okay, an alchemical process of merging my higher self with my ego personality. That was really all I wanted. If I was going to have anything at this point in my life, it had to be real. It had to be the real thing. I wasn't going to be satisfied with anything else. Okay. And ultimately, this is so corny, I feel like, to even say this, because I hate using all the QAnon terms and stuff like that at all now, because I was so burned by it, after 2020, trust the plan, like trust in shit now. You guys said Trump was going to win and he didn't, blah, blah, blah. But really, future proves past. And for me, future proves past. My future, walking into my future, all these synchronicities that happen, they proved this stuff in the past again and again and again. And I could not deny it. I could not deny it anymore. It's been literally 6 years of just surprises. I'm like looking for the best words to describe it. Excitement, surprises, like what's going to come next? What does God have planned for me next? I'm so excited. I'm so content. Because once we went over all of these pieces of the puzzle and we rebuilt my tower, But now, with the keystone that I would not allow myself to fully insert before, okay, because I was like, no one's ever going to believe me. I can't tell anyone this. They're not going to hear it. The world won't listen. No way. Like, no. Like, I'll never be able to share it. It's the one thing I couldn't share the details on. I shared some of it. I shared a brief glimpse of it. I said, you know what? I wanted this thing for you, and I think it happened. Here it is. You know, and by the way, you know, you made all my dreams come true, and I love you, and hope you have a great life. Thanks. You know, but I did not tell the details. Okay. I told this person I manifested something for them, but I did not tell them the details. And we're going to get into those details today. Okay. Because if I'm going to manifest something, I'm going to have conditions so that I could see if it really happened or not. Right. Okay. So let's get into that first heart wish. I'm just trying to find the spot. Coming back. Okay. Because really, I want to present this to you guys in a bit of a way where it's like, let's say you said these things to yourself. Let's say you have this conversation with God. Okay. Let's say you have this conversation and you say, you know what, I really want this thing. And, you know, if we do all these, you know, if it has this, this, and this, I'll believe it, you know, and then this, and this happens. Shit. You know, like, it's not like I hadn't had experiences with saying things and them happening before. I've talked about it in the past about how, you know, when I was, I had my first boyfriend, right? And we didn't really see each other very much. And it was kind of on again, off again. And then after a couple months of us barely seeing each other, he told me he was going to move out of state. And I was basically just like, I went out on my porch and I was like, God, no, you know, I'm like, this man loves me. You're going to increase the love. If there's any love in there at all, increase it by 10-fold. And I said, and then you're going to have him come to me tomorrow, the next morning, and you're going to have him tell me that he feels this way about me. And then he's going to see me every single day that he possibly can after that. And he's never going to lie to me. And if he lies to me, you're going to tell me and you're going to show me. And then guess what? The next day he came over at 9 a.m, which we never saw each other that early. We rarely saw each other. Comes over at 9 a.m. Oh my God, I'm in love with you. I don't know what I was thinking. Saw me every day after that. And guess what? Towards the end, I did find out about all the lies. So, woo, that's quite the twist, right? Okay, so I be saying things and things be happening, but now I'm at a different place in my life. I wasn't a teenager. I wasn't a young girl anymore. I had been through hell. I'd been to hell and back. And I was just living a life for God now. I didn't want nothing else. I didn't want the things that stereotypical people want, you know, like, oh, I just want to get married, and I want to have a baby, and I want to own a home. You know, it's like I'd done all that already, and it did not bring the feelings that I thought it would bring. Just like when I got baptized, I thought, if I just accept Jesus in my heart, I'll feel saved, right? You'll feel something. This should come with a feeling of something. I feel like it should. It never did. You know, if I get married to this person, you know, I'll feel like we're one, right? I'll feel like we're a couple and we're happy, and that didn't work for me either. So only the realest of the real stuff was going to work for me at this point. Okay. And so what happened, right? I started just doing these manifestation pages where I thought, if I can manifest things for myself, because that's what I had realized, you know, if I wrote a manifestation page and I asked for something and I roll it up and I burn it, it would happen. And so I was like, well, if I can do that for me, why can't I do that for the whole world? Why can't I start doing it and wishing that for every human being? So I started a new trend, and I started writing manifestation pages where I would write what I would want for me, and then I would flip it over. And I would write all of my hopes and my dreams for the rest of the world and all of humanity, and how I wanted them to rise up. And let's all rise up and ascend this planet. You know, let's do this thing. And I kept doing that. Okay, and But a thing came along, right? Something new came along where spirit started encouraging me to do something else, right? I happened to come across a person. I just want to make sure that I get to the right spot in my notes before I start this part, okay? So hold on. Because I wrote like so many fucking notes and I realized it was literally only the first part. And I'm like, oh my God, this is Cassandra. But you know, I mean, 6 years worth of stuff is a lot to jam in, right? Okay, back to the beginning. Yep, there we go. Okay, we did all that part. Yep, that's part of it right there. Bear with me. Take a deep breath. Yeah, we got to go back to page 1. Where is that at? Okay, where's page 1? I'm going to find it. Give me a second. There it is. Okay, I knew it was in here somewhere. Okay. So I came across a man. Okay. Came across a man. And when I saw this man for the first time, visible shock waves came off of him. Never seen something like that in my life. Still have not seen anything like that to this day. Visible shock waves came off of him. I thought, what? It caught my attention. I was just listening to a video. What was that? What the hell? Okay. I rewind the video. I thought maybe it was just the camera adjusting. Maybe it's just like the camera doing this in and out thing or something. I rewound it. No, it wasn't there. It wasn't there. You know? And so I'm like, okay. You know, I'm reconnected to God. I had this Course in Miracles. I have this newfound doing these manifestations. Play. Okay. Spirit, what's going on here? You know? I'm like, follow him. Okay, I'm going to follow him. No problem. He seems pretty cool. Coolest guy, you know? Coolest guy. So I started following him. I started listening to his story. Okay? It was very moving. Okay? The stories that, the things that he would share with people, open up. I don't think I really had an example of that before where I saw someone open up and be vulnerable in the ways that I saw this man be. And so I had these feelings. I had this something. I'm like, God, what is this? You know, I don't understand. I don't understand these feelings. Like, what's going on here, right? And then I heard this story. He told this story about on one of the most important days for him in his life. And he had this wife, okay? And she walked right past him on one of his most important days, just completely ignored him. And I was so upset about this. And it didn't make sense. I'm just going to be real with you guys. These emotions at the time, they didn't make sense. This was the mystery. Why do I feel this way? And so, sorry, I got this piece of skin. There we go. So I'm like having these feelings inside me, and Spirit's encouraging me, just like they did when my soul bird walking came, and they're talking to me, and they're showing me, you know, this is what happened to you. You know, this is what we have to do to fix it. We have to take you back through all your deepest, darkest childhood memories. We have to clear that out. And so now Spirit was talking to me again. I'm asking Spirit, like, why? Why am I feeling this way? I said, maybe you should lean into it. Okay. So I lean into it. Okay. And he said, what do you really want? I don't know. I said, I just want to run to him, honestly. I said, I don't know why, but I feel like I just need to run to him. I need to help him. I need to be there for him. Did you hear what he said? I'm so upset about this. Like, how could someone do that? How could he accept a woman that would do that? This is not good enough. You know, and they said, okay. I said, well, what would you do if you could do anything about that? I said, because obviously I can't just run to him. I can't. I am a woman with 6 kids. I'm here living with another man. My life is not, I can't just walk up and leave, you know. I won't deny that a part of me thought about it. And I was like, no, that's insanity. I shouldn't even be thinking about this stuff. I shouldn't even be feeling this way. He said, just lean into it. It's just an exercise, you know. It's just just go through it and see what you think, what you're really feeling, what you would do if you could. I said, well, they told me right off the bat, they said, you're right about not being able to run to them. Your lives are not compatible in that way. Flat out said this to me. Your lives, they're not compatible in that way. Okay. They said, also, his mission requires he not be tied down by children. I said, okay, I hear you. Like, they said, but if you could do anything, what would you do? Well, I already had a concept of what we could do because I'd already been thinking about this concept for years already before this. Okay, they had already been telling me, similar to when I'd watched this one show called Ascent of Time. Okay, and I don't know if you guys remember me talking about that on my other live streams. I watched this show called Ascent of Time, and before I got to the ending, Spirit ruined and spoiled the twist ending for me and told me, right? Okay, so I said, if you could do anything, what would you do? I said, and like I said, they've been talking to me about we could do this. They told me for years, they said, what if you could split your consciousness off and you could be reincarnated back into the timeline, okay, and have a relationship, these two versions of you, they could have a relationship, all right, and it would cancel karma out, okay? Now, the example they gave me was with my mother, okay, and they thought, and we were talking about this, for, like I said, for years, like, what if I was my mother? What if I actually literally am my mother? And they said that would be a good way. If you were going to do something like that, if you could be like, because here's the thing, they told my mom she could never have children, and she wanted children so badly. And I came to her, I thought, what if that was actually me? What if somehow I was able to reincarnate myself into myself? And then that would cancel out my mother karma. So that way I could get off this planet faster. That's part of what I was thinking. Okay. Because you got to clear out the karma in order to get off, right? Get out, to ascend. So that way you could not have to be reincarnated here for more lessons, so to speak. Okay. I hope you guys are following this. So anyway, they'd already been talking to me. What if we could split my consciousness off? Okay. So I'd already thought about that. What if we could do that? And then we could plan a lifetime. I went into great detail. Just get ready for this because I'm about to tell you the details that I've been telling people before. So what if we could do that? What if I could split my consciousness off and then reincarnate myself back into the timeline somehow, some way? And then I could do the thing I want to do, which was run to him and be with him, take care of him. Because my heart was inspired by that. Later on, I did realize, like, this is because of past life stuff. This was past life stuff. I don't like my camera being like, I'm going to see a little bit more. Okay. This was past life stuff. This is why. I didn't know this at the time. This was past life stuff coming through. This is why. So I said, what if, okay, if we're going to do that, how do we do that? And I do know how to do that. And I know how to do that from my Chinese lifetimes. Okay, well, how would you do that? Well, first thing you would have to do is you'd have to go and you'd have to look at your death chart. Okay, that means I'd have to travel into the future. I was already doing all these ideas of time traveling. Okay, I'd already been playing around with time traveling stuff for months because that's how I felt like I'd started to heal myself, was going back and giving myself messages in the past. Okay, so the first thing we would need to do is we would need to get my death chart. Okay, we're going to use that death chart to reincarnate into the timeline because you got to understand, okay? The astrology that you go out on is the astrology that you have to come in on the next time around. That's how it works out. Okay? That's just how it is. I don't know how I know. I just know that's how it is. Oh, initiation, actually. Initiation did confirm that one for me. I forgot. That is partly where I got that part from, was that they were talking about that because she was giving the example of the fact that when she died, she died on such a specific and unique astrological placements that it took her tens of thousands of years in order to even be get back into another body. Okay, so I was like, okay, so what if we do that? Let me get to the thing. Okay, so they told me it was kind of like they compared it to Hermione Granger when she has that time necklace and she's able to go and be multiple places at once, right? They kind of compare to that, but also to Clara the Impossible. This made sense now. This is why my character was always Clara the Impossible Girl. Okay, because what did she do? She went and she put herself back into the doctor's timeline. All right, in order to help him, in order to help best serve him on the mission, right? Okay, so we're gonna travel back to the future. We're gonna travel to the future. Pick a death chart. Yeah, it means I'm gonna have to pick an exit point. Okay, use this as my new birth chart. Find parents to take me in. I was like, oh my! I was getting really excited about this. Now I was getting real amped up. I'm like, oh my god, we could even pick what I would want to look like. I'm like, could you imagine? Oh my god, I know what I would want to look like. I was like, I had a general idea. I was like, I mean, obviously, I'd have to go along with my parents genetically. Still, I'd have to kind of look like them, but I have, general idea of what it is I would want to look like. Okay, so I'd have to go. I'd have to find parents that would take me in because this is kind of short notice for a lifetime reincarnation. Like it's kind of short notice to be doing this like in the astral while you're living another lifetime, but it's not impossible. I'm telling you that right now. So you're then okay, because what was the conditions? Why couldn't I go running to him, right? Because we weren't compatible and he needed someone who couldn't be or wouldn't be tied down by children. All right, so we're going to plan a lifetime of experiences to prepare this other version of me, all right, to be the most compatible version of a woman that he would need for him. That would make it work. Because quite honestly, in this version of me, I'm terrible in relationships as well. And I was like, I don't want to do anything bad. I don't want to hurt. I care of these feelings. I just wanted to be happy. I just wanted to feel the love. Okay. So anyway, let's keep going. What else, right? So we're going to plan for these experiences. Okay. Oh God, yeah, this is a hard one. So we're going to have to plan for experiences to inspire this other version of me to not want to have children, right? This is kind of a tall order to ask, guys. This is a tall order to ask. I said, I have a solution. I said, if this happens, right, you can just go and you can tell her, hey, spirits can tell her, right? Hey, there's this other version of you over here who is a mother. You can come and pop in here anytime you want to know what it feels like to be a mother. I'm like, I don't know if that's the best solution, but it's what I got. I'll give that to her. Absolutely. Okay. They did have some things to tell me, possible issues, and we're going to go over that in a second. Okay. So Spirit had some questions for me, just like Spirit had some questions, or I had some questions for Spirit, right? When it came to, my Soulberry walking coming, and they were like, I could help you if you wanted, but you have to consent, and do you have any questions? And so I had questions, and they answered me. Well, they had questions for me here. They said, I think about it. They said, think about this. And this was like a process of a couple of days because I kept going back to these thoughts. I couldn't stop thinking about this stuff. Okay. And they said, think about it. They said, if you reincarnate, it will be you. But it won't be you because you reincarnate amnesia. You're wiped. She's not going to remember. Okay. They said, I said, okay, I don't see the problem with that. They said, will you be able to handle that? It's you, but it's not you, like, yeah. Why wouldn't I be able to handle it? What other choice do we have? Did you hear his story? Did you hear it? Did you hear the first wife? Did you hear it? What do you want me to do here? You're asking me to lean into the feelings. I'm telling you, they were happy about it. I could feel it. I could feel the smile coming from them. So I was okay. We're okay. What's the next thing? We'll bring up the next thing. What do we got? Okay. Number 2. The next thing was, if you do this, okay, and you're jumping timelines, you're reincarnating, you're going to there and you're reincarnating. Okay. I saw that it was like a double Dutch. Okay. Like you kind of got to jump in at the right time, right? It's got to be right at the right time in order to line up. They said, if in the past with the other version of me that they had already been talking to me about, that I'd already done this before, they said, you had more time to prepare for that. We were able to prepare that out a little bit ahead of time. And so, it worked out, they said, but with this type of a jump, it's possible, they said, that this could lead to possible age gap problem, an age gap. problem. I'm like, okay. I'm like, well, obviously, if it's going to be an issue, we just won't go through with this, right? This is just us just playing, right? We are just like talking about things. Like, I don't understand. I should have taken Spirit a little bit more seriously. I said, besides, I said, if we plan this all out right, okay, and we give her all the right experiences to be the most compatible woman for her, age gap's not going to matter. Just get as close as you can. Just get as close as you can. We're fine. We'll be fine. Okay. Lastly, okay, number 3. They reiterated this one. They said, you have real feelings here. And you're going to have to see that outside of yourself. If you do this manifestation, are you going to be able to see? You're going to be able to handle seeing this. You're going to be able to handle that. At the time, I was quite still, I had not fully uncovered it, but they knew something ahead of time. See, they could see something beyond me, feelings that were blossoming that I was not aware of the depth of it. Okay. So the last condition that I put on. So what was the conditions, right? Okay. So the conditions to prove to myself this manifestation happened, right, was these 3 things. Was there an age gap? How does she feel about children? And does she love him in a similar frequency and feeling as what I'm feeling right now? Because to even be going to this place, to even be desiring this, see, because I asked God to give me meaning. Right? I asked God to show me what things mean for real. God doesn't always just tell you right off the bat, like what that something really means. But with time, it will be revealed, right? And it was revealed to me. It took years for it to be revealed to me totally and completely. I get it now, though. I see it. It all makes sense now. Okay. So they asked me, are you going to be able to handle this, right? I said, what other choice we got? I'm like, you think I'm going to be able to handle seeing and hearing about how he's with someone that's not treating him good? Like, I can handle never being there with him, just watching from the outside. I can handle that, but I cannot handle if I'm watching him being mistreated. Can't handle that. So what are you waiting for? Like, just pull the fucking trigger. Just pull it. Fuck it. Just fucking do it. Let's go. I'm ready. But again, back then, I just really thought I'm just crazy. I'm just thinking these crazy thoughts, and wow, like, Cassandra, you are going to some next levels here, with the things that you think about. But it brought me joy. That's the thing, is these thoughts and these feelings, they brought me such joy that I couldn't stop. Okay, I had to keep going. I had to uncover the mystery. Okay. Because I never felt so good just desiring, okay, for someone else to be loved to the point where I'd be willing to cross timelines to make it happen. That was what I was willing to go through. That was the thing. Okay. So now what happened after that, right? We're not going to get through all of this today. Like I said, this is just part 1, right? Well, one of the first weird things that started happening after that, because like I said, this took years to uncover itself. I just thought, this is a crazy cool feeling. And I'm so happy to be connected to God again. And wow, thank you for allowing me to have these feelings and these thoughts, God, because it felt so nice to have that. But like I said, I was uncovering all these new abilities, right? I was telepathing, I was remote viewing. I didn't even know that's what I was doing. So one of the other things that I would like to do for fun was I would think about people, okay? I would go into my heart space and I would think about people, and I would think about all of the things that I felt good about them. I love them. Like, yeah, I hope you're having a great day. I hope, all your experiences are great and wonderful. I just think you're so amazing. I think you're so cool. It depended on, what was drawing my attention at the time. Because, okay, hold on. They just keep trying to, they want to keep bringing me back to that part. Was it meaning stuff? Okay, hold on. Meaning stuff. It almost gets there, and then it slips back out again. Okay. So I'm thinking about people. I'm thinking about people that I care about, people that I'm naturally drawn to, and I'm doing this on a regular basis, every day. I mean, I'm a stay-at-home mom at this point. I have a lot of free time, and I get my meditation done, I get my qigong done, I get my Pilates done, I get all this stuff done, take care of the kids, take them to school, do all that. What am I going to do with my spare time? Well, this is the stuff I would do. And so one time, though, shortly after these, experiences of me wishing for this thing to happen for this person, right? I'm like, okay, I wonder what they're doing. I'm going to go check on them. I think about them. And suddenly, something new happened. A female presence stopped me. Holy shit, what's that? Holy shit. I'm meditating, and I went to go do my normal thing. Hey, hope you're doing great. Think you're amazing, type of thing. And a female presence stopped me and got in between us. And it said, and I see, because that's the thing. I didn't know I was actually going there. I didn't realize that's what I'm actually doing. Didn't think that's what was happening. Female presence stops me, and she says something to me. She says, telepathy, she says, what is it that you want here? Well, what do I want here? I not stopped to think about this. What do I even want here? But an answer came to me right away, and it said, just love. So I said that. I said this to her. I said, I'm just here for love. I'm just here for love. And I waited for a response. And she said, okay, you can stay. I immediately snapped out of this meditation because I'm like, holy shit, what was that? I'm like, holy shit. Like, am I crazy? Is she there already? Is she there already? Oh my God. This is incredible. Okay. I'm just like, wow. Okay. But here's the thing. I was not going to be able to let myself believe this that easy. No way. Like I said, one thing. Okay. Now I'm sensing that. Okay. 2 things, 3 things. All right. But if these things are real, right? They should be recreatable. I should be able to do something similar, okay, or of equals powerful thing, right? Like something of equal value. I should be able to keep doing that. If I'm really doing these things, then I need to prove to myself that I really did that thing by manifesting all these other things. So I began to manifest all these other things. And it was working, right? Okay, so first the female presence stops me. I'm like, wow, okay, that's kind of cool. So she said I could stay. So I'm like, all right, well, I'm staying then. I'm just going to keep coming back. She might be there. Who knows? Maybe she's me. Maybe she's not. Doesn't really matter. I'm pretty happy and content as it is. Living my life, having these nice musical synchronicities and all this cool stuff happen to me for the first time in years and years, right? Most connected to God I'd ever felt. Okay, well, time trickles on by, and I see her for the first time. She comes out. I see her. Oh my God. Every time something confirmation big wise happens, it always has the same effect on me, I've noticed. I get shaky. Like my legs feel like they're going to just give out. It's like someone just like an earthquake just happened on the ground. It's like, holy shit, And so I saw her. And she looked like what I had wanted to look like. And I'm like, double take. Like, what? Like, is this the female presence that stopped me? Is she the one? God, did we do this thing? Holy crap. I was like, no, I can't believe myself. Absolutely not. No, I've lost my mind. This is absurdity. This is absurdity. No, we're not going there. We're not letting myself believe that. And I couldn't just very well walk in there and be like, hey, I had all these crazy thoughts. Wanted to manifest this thing for you. Might have done it. Here's how I might have done it and explain what I just explained just now, right? Could you imagine me going there right off the bat and just being like, hey, like it was hard enough telling what I did tell. It was hard enough sharing what I did share with them afterwards, after all of this stuff was happening. And I didn't even have all the confirmations yet. And that was another reason why I couldn't tell the details. because I didn't have all the confirmations yet. And I was unwilling to believe that, even though Spirit literally came and told me one day at 5 in the morning, 6 in the morning, I was trying to sleep and I slightly got woken up. And again, this was like something I was pondering and contemplating a lot at that time. And Spirit came to me and they said, because they knew I wanted confirmation, I'm sure. They wanted to make me happy is what they were trying to do. I know that now. They said, her story is your story. And then they said our names. Her story is your story. I said, shut the fuck up. I said, I am so tired of this at this point. Like, you guys are hounding. Like, this mystery is driving me insane. Why? I'm like, why? I can't believe that. And I'll tell you why. It's not that I didn't want to believe it. It's not that I didn't want to believe it with all my heart. Of course I wanted to. But I had a wound. I had a wound that would not let me. And this wound said, if you let yourself believe this thing that makes you so happy and fills you with so much light and so much joy, and someone comes along, and they say, crazy, like, wow, your crush has gone a little bit crazy, don't you think, girl? Like, look at the extent that you're telling me this stuff. Like, if someone were to come and take that away from me, I couldn't have handled that. I couldn't have handled that. So since I couldn't handle that, I couldn't allow myself to believe. And so I told Spirit at the time, I said, I don't believe you. It's the only time they ever yelled at me. And they said, we don't require your belief. And I could see a visual of a man and a woman. And the woman was like kind of crying. And she was like, I thought it was going to make her so happy to know this. And the guy was like, I know. And he was like, like he was like, she'll figure it out. I'm like, yeah, okay. Okay, I'll figure it out. Whatever. So, yeah, that was the beginning. That was the beginning. And I have so much more to go over. I really, really do. This is just the first installment. This was the first part, of what the fuck am I doing, right? This multiverse of madness that I have created for myself, this Hermione Granger timepiece where I've gone and I'm living multiple lives, so in multiple places, like possibly 3. Possible. I'm not saying I know for sure 100% of anything because I don't. None of us really, really do. All I can do is go based on what, like, the synchronicities, the signs, the confirmations. That's all I'm doing. I'm just walking through life. I'm just trying to live it as best that I can and be of service as best I can to humanity and others, right? So I will be coming back next week. I'm going to keep writing. I'm going to keep telling you the rest of the story because there's more. I haven't even gotten into the part about possibly doubling up in the astral, maybe a clone version of someone. I don't know if it was that. Although I'll tell you what he says to me. I'll tell you what he says. In fact, we'll just cut to the chase. I'll tell you what he says. He says he's the future version of this person. Outside of time and space. That they're here to walk me out of this lifetime. Because they looked back and they saw. And they got something wrong at first, they said, in this lifetime. And they're here to walk me out of it. Because that's what I ended up asking for in the long run. When I started seeing these things, okay? When I started seeing the confirmations, I would go back into that happy place and I would start like, oh my God, like, and I would tell this person, I would just be like, wow, I think I did. Because, if I was really communicating with this person, I was really like, wow, I think I manifested this thing for you, dude. Like, you're not even going to believe this. I was like, what did I say? I said, oh, that's fine. I was like, you can just come give me a kiss in the dream space, in order to say thank you. Just do that. That would be thank you enough for me. It'll be fine, And I said, or, I said, oh, no, it's fine. I said, what we could do? I said, like Doctor Who. in Journey's End, so we could go into the astral and make a clone of you for my very own, right? I'm like, and then I could have someone with me and everyone will be happy. It'll be hilarious. I mean, I would crack myself up at this. I'm just thinking, this is all just funny games. This is all just jokes, right? And I would go into the details of, well, how would we do that? How would we make an astral clone of someone? Well, I said, we would need to cut off your hand. This is what we would need. If we're going to make an astral clone of someone, according to Doctor Who, okay, well, then we would need the right hand, your right hand, okay? And then, because that's what they did in Doctor Who, right? His hand got cut off, all right, David Tennant, his hand got cut off when he first became David Tennant, and Captain Jack Harkness found his hand, they put it in a jar, left it on the TARDIS. When he almost died, he didn't want to regenerate and become a new Doctor yet. He still liked being the David Tennant version of himself. He took all of his regeneration energy and he put it into the hand. And when it came time, okay, a biological meta-crisis happened between the hand and Donna, okay, and Donna and the DNA of the hand and the regeneration energy, they mixed, and this was the biological meta-crisis that, poof, new Doctor, time the meta-crisis Doctor. Yes. I mean, I don't know. Maybe we did a little bit of all of it. I don't really know. But it's been fun. It's been pretty funny. I've really been enjoying myself. It's been hard not to go into some of these details. I'll be real with you. I've wanted to share this type of stuff, but how crazy am I? What would you think if all these things were happening right in front of your eyes? Right? What would you think? What would you think? You say these things, and suddenly they just start happening. And so then you keep doing it. And you keep making these heart wishes for people, like they keep happening. I mean, do you remember the other ones? I don't know if anyone, the one for Z, my friend Z, she had lost a baby. And so I picked a song, a heart song by Aurora. And I come up with an ideal. The ideal was, since she had lost this baby, I said, all of the women, all the people that love her the most, we should all go to her, gather around her, in the astral or wherever, okay? We'll go to her, and we'll all help carry the burden of the pain of what it was for her to lose that child. And we'll help her process that faster by being willing to take on that grief for her and to help her carry it, so that way she could heal and get back on her mission. Because that's what it's about for me, getting people back on track with their missions. Okay? And so I picked this song. I made this heart wish for her with all of the sincerity that I could muster. And I let it go, because that's all I can do when I make these heart wishes. All I can do is just feel it, say it, let it go. If God wills it to happen, then it'll happen, right? So for Z, that particular one, I did get a confirmation. My friend Alexis told me sometime after, when I mentioned the heart wish to her, okay, I told her, hey, here's some of the things I'd be doing in my spare time. Here's one of the things I've been doing. Here's one of the things I wished for Z. And I shared with her the heart song that I picked to do this thing for her. And she said, well, that's kind of crazy, because actually a group of us girls did get together, a group of us women, and we played this song and we all did grieve with her. We all got in the circle and we grieved with her. And I'm like, wow, okay. So for me, that's a good enough confirmation that heart wish happened, that we all surrounded her with that love, and she did get back on her mission. And she is, and I told her that too. Because like I said, I just want to be able to share these things with people. I just want to be able to share them. All right. So part 2 is coming up next week. Part 2. But we're going to go ahead and let's change gears, right? Let's pull a fortune cookie. That was a bit intense. And I don't want to talk about this after the stream. I just want to say that right now. It's off off my chest. I don't want to talk about it. Okay, so let's pull a fortune cookie for the collective, and let's pull tarot cards for the collective, since now I got through that most hard thing. All right, if anyone is even still here, I don't even know. Sometimes I always like, okay, I see all the chat moving, right? But sometimes I'm like, when the chat stops, I'm like, oh man, is no one really listening? But sometimes I realize when I'm in other people's chats, like when I'm watching other streamers, I realize like, oh, actually, usually when people, a lot of times, you know, when people completely stop talking, it's because they're actually listening, you know? Like, oh, okay. Either way, you know, let's go ahead and take this. 3 and 1 fortune again. Let's find out. Let's find out, guys. On the count of 3. 1, 2. Back into my body. Okay. 1, 2, 3. There we go. We got it. Ever think of writing a book about it? Victor said. I have. Actually, in fact, I didn't think about writing a book about it until I started writing it all down, and I realized, damn, this is like a fucking book's worth of stuff. Shit. So how am I supposed to present this all in one stream? You're going to give me all this information? And how am I supposed to present this all on stream at one time? Like, it's not going to happen. You know, so... Not to mention, freaking just trying to think about it and get through. Like, okay, here's the other thing. Part of what took me so long to come here and do this stream is because once the Blue Fairy came back and Mr. Universe was here too, like, I was like allowing myself to feel again, right? And I was allowing myself to reconnect again. And I was just like, I could just stay in this world with myself all day, every day. I could just, I don't even care. It was like, I don't even, like, live stream, it'll be there. It'll still be there, you know. Like, I'll get back to it when I get back to it, because I've been without myself for a full year or something. You know, I've been without myself. And I was very upset about that. And so now that myself was back, I was going to sit there and I was going to enjoy it. We were going to go over all, and things are still opening up. Here's the fucked up thing about it too. It's still unfolding. It's still unfolding. They're still putting things down and being like, hey, why don't you relook at this thing? And then it will, like, 2 more layers unfold before me. And I'm like, holy shit, that makes perfect sense now. I get it now. Okay, that makes sense. Okay, I didn't even get to finish the whole sacred marriage ceremony thing. Here we go. All right, guys. The chemical wedding, right? I'm excited to talk more about that. Our fortune for this next week is your Thursday will be filled with joy and laughter. So you guys, I just want you to be prepared for your Thursday. Thursday. Can you see it? Your Thursday. Oh my God, I'm trying to get this to focus. I'm sorry, guys. I should just not. Oh, your Thursday will be filled with joy and laughter. Look forward to Thursday. Yeah, that'll be good. Take a little tiny piece of a bite. It's also payday. Oh, good. I hope it's paid. I hope a lot of people start wanting to spend some money door dashing, because let me tell you, I think the presidency stuff has people real depressed, and that's affected my job now, because I went out the other day and for an hour and 15 minutes I was out there. I made $4.50. I literally had one order. It was 1 mile away. It's like, what is this? You know, I'm a driver. You know, you got to give me orders, God. I need to go visit the world. Take me to the places. Okay? Take me to the places I need to be. Always. Oh, I need to tip this back a little now so I can actually read the chat better. People will start stress eating. Honestly, it's so sad. I hope they do, though. You know, but it's not just food that people can order through DoorDash. There's lots of things people can order through DoorDash. You'd be amazed at the things you can order through DoorDash. I know, because I'm the one out there shopping for it for y'all. Crazy things. Had to shop for someone at Victoria's Secret the other day. Ended up buying myself stuff. Like, oh, it's like I knew I shouldn't have taken this order. I was going to get in there. I was going to buy myself something. I did. Oh, well. I have a credit card. It's fine. Yeah. Lowe's is a fun one. I love going to Lowe's. I'll be real with you guys. I love going to Lowe's. You ever go to a place and it just smells good? You just take it in. I love Home Depot. I love the smell of Lowe's and Home Depot. New materials. I don't know. I think maybe because it reminds me of when I was like moving into a new house or something. But I love it. It's probably one of my favorite places. And they usually get the aisles right. The like where the item's going to be at, which I can't say the same for other stores like Target. They'll send me in there. Like Target's a huge store, and they'll be like, "Oh yeah, here, get this particular item," and just go in there and find it. Just go in there. Hopefully you get it. Like, oh God, I pray honestly every time I go into one of those places. Anytime I go into one of those situations. Mm-hmm. Okay. So what does the collective? Yeah, we're back. We're back. Okay. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Wow, all sorts of images. Okay. Sorry. Just closing my eyes for a second here. Yeah, no, we're fine. Goodness gracious. Okay. We got some weird energy going on over here behind me. Okay, hold on. I'm just trying to see what it is. What the heck is all that noise? It's like there's something going on back there. I don't even know what it is. They're not talking to me. Okay, anyway. Yep, nope, they're talking amongst themselves. Okay. Sorry, let me be weird for a second. Okay, anyway, let's go back. Back to what we're doing. Tarot card for the collective. Yes. Post-election. What does next week's energies look like for people? Clearly, Thursday is going to be a good day. What could you tell us about the energies otherwise? Tarot card for the collective. Tarot card for the collective. Tarot card for the collective. Okay, yep. Okay, it's ready. It's ready. It's ready. One more time. There we go. Okay. What does the collective need to hear? So this is for you guys here. For the collective. For next week's energies. Okay. The first card we got is the Lovers. Such a pretty card. I really do love this version of the Lovers. You know why? Because for me, it translates into showing true intimacy. I truly see you, is what this says. It's like that, the movie Avatar, right? Like, I see you. Okay, so this is a connection, a reunion, a union, so to speak. Okay, this is kicking off a process. Maybe I've inspired some people here today. Like, you want your own sacred marriage, chemical wedding. Maybe you are starting to wonder, like, what's that process like? You know, could I have that type of thing? You know, this intimate relationship with God, because that's really the deepest relationship. And that's the thing. I feel like people miss out on that too. You know, like that's what made me feel so let down by baptisms was like, you know, Jesus coming into my heart, like where it was like I wanted to feel that intimate connection with someone, right? And that's what people long for, like for something to have meaning behind it. Okay, so maybe now you're inspired. You're inspired. You want to have that connection. You want to know what that feels like, what that looks like, to truly be seen and acknowledged for who you really are as a person. Okay. There's some actions that are going to have to take place in order to do that. The actions are going to be on the masculine side of you, I see, because for the first time I'm noticing that there's these rods behind him. It's the first time I'm noticing that. So that means something to me. So there's some actions that the masculine side or a man, he's going to have to take. Okay, so next one. For the collective, explain more on the lovers. What other information? What's the second part of the message on the lovers? Here we go. Whoop. Okay. Double it up. Double. Let's do it. 2 of Cups. There's been an agreement made. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention that part about my story. When Mr. Universe was explaining to me my first manifestation heart wish thing, right? He was saying, realize like this is essentially where you made your deal with God. You know the song Deal with God by Kate Bush? I said, yeah. And I don't even remember that song being around when I was a girl. Kate Bush, I'd never even heard of her. I'm like, am I even from a timeline where that song even originally existed? I feel like not. Sometimes I feel like that song literally, I pulled myself to a timeline where that song existed because I had this experience to be able to relate to it. I don't know. That's just my thought on it. But anyway, back to the tarot. We got the 2 of Cups. We got the Lovers card. Right? This is about true union, true intimacy, truly being seen for yourself and feeling one with God, right? You're making a deal. You're making an agreement. All right? So yes, indeed, something is coming forward. You've desired this thing and now it's going to step forward into your life. Okay? The thing is, like, the Lovers is just a more intensified verse. So it's like, I would say this is an actual relationship between 2 human vessels, right? This would be more of that connection, contract, okay? Where this one is going to be more spiritual, alchemical, like the process of starting that, okay? So, because really part of the Lover's energy and getting to that point where you're in this inner divine union with yourself, a lot of times it does require another person. It does, actually. It fully does require another person to help you along with that. And if your intention and your heart is pure, your intentions are true, then God, that will like set off a frequency that will call this person to you. I think that's what the 3 waves, the visible waves were. I'd called this person to me. I'd reached this level of development. The call had been put out. Okay, so hold on to that for a minute. Let's pull one more card. Tell us the last part. Tell us the last part of your message, God. Tell us the last part. Woo. Okay. So 7 of Rods. Okay. This is like hold your ground. Hold your ground. Okay. This is a lot of actions coming at you. Okay. Was this me driving? For me, okay, personally, this was good. Okay, what you feel like this means for you, just think about it. Go with your first instinct, because that's the biggest lesson that I've really been taking away from this recently. Okay, is that all these things, when I first would ask myself, what is this thing? And the first answer I would get, let me tell you something, it was right. Almost every single time. It was fucking right. It was right. It was right. It was right. It was right. And I didn't listen to myself. I didn't believe myself. So for me, what this is like me driving in my car and there's like a lot of actions coming at me. Like this could even be for me, door dashing is like a lot of offers coming at me and I just got to keep going. I'm going to keep going forward with all of this, right? But for you, whatever your initial response and reaction and feeling to this visual image is, I would take that personally. I would trust yourself. What does this feel like to you? Because what this also can represent is feeling is having a lot of people come at you, but they're not really touching you. You see that? So it could just be where it just looks like they're taking actions towards you, but it doesn't ever actually reach you. Okay. One of the things I think of when I see this is all the people out there, since we've been talking about the election so much, all the actions coming at people who maybe voted for Trump, right? Feeling like they're being attacked, maybe even. All right, but you just hold your ground. Hold your ground. Do not waver. You have the higher ground. You have the upper hand here. Okay, so You're the one in control. You're steering the ship. 7. It's a 7. Just trying to feel anything else that I see in this particular card, because I'm trying to mix it in here. Like, how does this play out with the Lovers and the 2 of Cups? Okay, so feeling really seen, having this really divine inner union within yourself, having this agreement, calling a partner into your life. Okay, and then just hold your ground and hold firm while the actions take place in order to accomplish that thing. Stay firm. I feel like that's the best interpretation I can give for these particular cards tonight, guys. I do get a good feeling from it, though. You might be nervous, but don't be. Okay. Anyway. I can't pull from one of my other decks, because I usually do one more card, since we still got a couple people here, which I'm very grateful for, and thank you for being here and listening to me and seeing this through with me. I just really appreciate you. I appreciate you guys. I just want to say that I love my soul family, and hope that they're doing well out there. I love you guys. Braden. Just reading his message here. Oh, Victor. I love you guys. Okay. We're going to pull one more cards. Okay. Should I do an Oracle deck, or should I do my Adventure Time tarot card? Because I'm feeling a little bit of both. I'm feeling like we could do just one Oracle card. Oh, Trevor. Hi, Trevor. I didn't get to say hi to everyone because I was so busy talking. Hi, Terry. I don't even know if you guys are all here anymore. John Kins, thank you for coming. Trevor. Oh, I love you guys. Mrs. White Swan. Oh, Janice. Oh, Janice, I wanted to say something to you. Did your account get hacked? If you're still here, Janice, let me know. Did your Facebook account get hacked? I feel like it did. I saw you in front of me with a new name. All right, Barry. Hi, Barry. Chris, he was here in the background, I'm sure. Geraldine, love you. Dennis. Oh, Matthew and Honora, love you guys. Oh my goodness, I don't even know who's here yet anymore, but anyway, I feel like Barry Littleton. Oh shit. Oh man, big dog rolled through here. Oh my god. Oh my god. Barry. What are you doing here? Oh my god. Barry just started doing his own live streams too, guys. I highly recommend you check his channel out as well. Barry Littleton. He's a real one, for real. Real one right there. Yes. Okay, so. Oh, Brayden. Thank you. Oh, okay. Well, let's pull one. Like I said, no one said Oracle or the Adventure Time. Let me see. Wait. Okay. Hold on. Okay, hold on. I appreciate you. Yep. All right, are we pulling one more card, or are we just ending the stream then, guys? Are we pulling another? Or if no one really wants another Oracle card or Tarot card, I won't. But I would think that you guys would want one more, if I'm willing. Barely got the rest of the energy in me here. I'm so happy that so many people showed up. Oh my god, look at they're all chatting in the stream now. Okay. Yes. All right then. How long have we been here for? How long? When did I start at? What time is it? This is a long one. I knew it was going to be a long one. See, could you imagine if I tried to go over every part tonight? We would have. This is why I couldn't. This is why I told them straight up. I can't do it all in one fucking day. Adventure Time. Boom. Braden's down. Braden is down for the Adventure Time. I'll be quick with this one, I promise. Because I know we've been here for what? Oh no, am I crossing the 2-hour mark? Maybe I should end it. Fuck it. It's not like I get that much traction anyway. Considering how crazy intense I went this time, right? I'm just splitting my consciousness off, going into other bodies, living multiple lifetimes at once, so that way I can get this thing called living on planet Earth done. I wanted to get to Bodhisattva. That's what I wanted to get to. You know, I thought that would be nice because that way I could still be here in the realms to help people. You know, if you become a Buddha, you're gone, right? If you become one with God, like into the infinite. You know, like what you can do. I have this feeling you can do it. Like that's where you ultimately go to once you're done doing all these things. Right? But yeah, I still want to help the rest of my brothers and sisters here on this planet. Help them rise up. You know, I'm waiting for all of you guys. That's the thing. We're all waiting for each other to just get to these next levels, this next point, to meet yourselves at deeper levels. Okay. This card, you know, okay, if you know from the past, this deck is a little bit harder to shuffle than my other ones. So in order to get the energies in there real good, I'm just taking a minute to that's, oh man, the star card. Sorry, I just saw the star card and I just started thinking about that in the higher self again and what that symbolically means. Like the higher self wants you to notice it. You know, it wants you to notice it. It's dropping clues all the time. The synchronicities, it's dropping them all the time. So you'll notice it and you'll want to come and be one with it. It wants to merge with you. You know, it's a very beautiful thing. Okay. So, all right, here we go. What does the collective need to hear? Wow, we're not doing it like that. No. Okay, listen. Okay, listen, cards. Listen. You're going to have to work with me here. Okay, so here we go. Just going to shuffle them up a little bit more. I already did the main shuffling, you know, but I just try to move around a little bit more. Okay, yeah, here we go. Cut and win threads. What does Spirit want to tell the collective? Okay, I'll be gone after this. I promise. We'll leave after this. All right, here we go. What does Spirit have to tell the collective? The Adventure Time Tarot. All right, so we got the King of Swords. Oh, this is a fun one. King of Swords. Okay, so this is a guy who, okay, this guy's named Rattleballs. All right, Princess Bubblegum made him to defend her, but eventually she ended up killing all of them, and that's completely irrelevant to really the card in the long run. But ultimately, what this is saying is that this guy needs something to fight for. Okay, he's very loyal. He has a purpose. This particular character, if we're going with this archetype. Okay, he's not afraid to do things in the shadows. He's not afraid to hide in the dark and come out and strike just when the moment is needed. Okay, his loyalty is to the queen. And he will fight to his death in order to protect that which he is devoted to. The King of Swords is usually about using your words in a certain way. So this is a man who's willing to speak up and defend and protect that which he has committed himself and devoted himself to. Okay, so let's pull another card. Tell us more about this. The Swords. Boom. Ooh, baby. We got the Magician. This is Magic Man. Magic Man. Okay, so what is this saying? Okay, well, the Magician. I mean, look, he's even wearing the hat of the alchemist. It's reminding me of the Holy Mountain, you know? Okay, so the Magician is about recognizing how far on your path you've come. So not only do you have this loyalty and this sense of determination, something that drives you to fight for something that you believe in, but you also have this magic. You have this magical talent. You have these tools that you could use if only you were to pick them up and use them. You know, but the thing about the Magician is that he doesn't ever really realize how far he's come in his journey and how much magic he actually possesses. It takes a minute for him to realize that. Okay? In this particular case, the problem with being this magic man, this magician, is that the dark side of it, I would say, is just be careful not to be corrupted by your own past traumas. Because what this guy ended up doing because of them was he ended up going and creating a bunch of havoc for other people with his magic, which he didn't, because he couldn't help himself, like he was driven mad by his own magic. In Adventure Time lore, in fact, that's one of the main staples of having magical abilities is that it has the possibility to drive you mad, right? Hence my multiverse of madness, right? It has the possibility. All right, madness, sadness, and there was something else. I forget what the other thing was, but they all have these things. They have those things in common, supposedly, in the Adventure Time universe. So, yeah. So stop and take a look at how far you come. Like he's doing the as above, so below type thing. Like, take a look. Take a look at how far you've come. Okay, because you actually have more magical abilities than what you are even realize. Okay, let's pull one more card. One more card. It's the last part of the message here, guys. It's the last part. It's the last part of the message. Whoop. Okay. Last part is the Knight of Swords. So it feels like to me now that I'm looking at the King of Swords, this guy, he's kind of like sitting in one place, right? He's sitting in this junkyard, quite honestly. I mean, half of us Americans are trash anyway, right? According to Biden. Man, these people, politics are hilarious. Okay, I don't understand why people get so upset about it. Anyway, back to the subject. Okay, so we got the Knight of Swords. So the King of Swords, he's over here. He's kind of sitting in his place. He's like ready to go, ready to fight, right? Ready to pounce, hide in the shadows if he needs to in order to protect what he is devoted to and he's loyal to. He's got this magic in him. Okay, even though he doesn't maybe necessarily recognize that he has such strong magical abilities because he's been working on himself for so long. He doesn't even realize how powerful he is yet. All right, and then we got the Knight of Swords. It's almost like I feel like the King of Swords is waiting for this moment. And not to, because here's the thing, like the Knight of Swords is usually, for me, representative of someone being like a less mature version of themselves when it comes to words. But I don't get this feeling here. I get this feeling like this King of Swords is waiting, and then there's a moment in time that comes, and he's got to take charge, and he's got to run, he's got to go. Okay, he's got to offer up his sword, he's got to help. All right, so he's waiting. Oh my God, look at this picture, guys. It's wearing high heels. Look at that. This thing, I don't even know what this is. Is this a jelly bean he's riding on? He's a general. He's the king. He's the general of the candy corn. Of the banana guards. He's the general. He's the candy corn guy. So yeah, he's a little bit old fashioned though. You know what I'm saying? Like, he has a good heart. He has good intentions, right? In the show, he does anyway. But so the Knight of Swords, he's someone who really does want to get involved. He wants to step up. He wants to go swinging that sword around. He wants something to fight for. So if this isn't just a transition from the king to the knight, and if this is two different people, and you're relating this to, and you're feeling this, and you're like, damn, you know what? That kind of makes me think of this other person, though. You know, I feel like I'm that king, and I feel like this person is that, or vice versa, right? Well, then the thing would be that this person just wants something to go. They want purpose. They want some reason to go charging in to save the day. That's the thing about the Candy Kingdom. They're not really in danger. You know, like his purpose. Yes, Princess Bubblegum gave him a purpose. Yes, but you know, like, is that really the way he wants to handle it? Does that make sense? Is that really the place he should be charging to? Is he like the dark side of this? But be hesitant. Don't go charging in too fast, because again, knights are usually a little bit farther behind than the kings, right? So they might accidentally like cut someone they're not supposed to. They might say something. I mean, it's not the Page of Swords, so it's not. I don't feel like they're going to come in there and they're going to cut some people's heads off with it. It's not that. But he needs to feel like he has a purpose. He needs to feel like there's some journey that he needs to go on. And I feel like that's what we're waiting for. We're waiting for that go moment. Go. Okay. I'm gonna have to figure out how that relates for me, guys, and why the heck. I don't even think we've ever gotten this card, and all the times I've pulled these cards. Like, where the heck are they going? And what is this animal he's riding on? I've never. It looks like a jelly bean to me, but with legs, high heels. All right. Well, hopefully that makes sense. I know the first one resonated a little bit more for me. Adventure Time's a little bit tricky, but I still had fun doing that. I still had fun pulling the cards. Again, trust yourself. Don't just trust what I'm saying. Trust your gut. Use this as a tool, discernment. Boom, boom, boom. Okay. Good, Chris. I'm glad that made sense for you guys. Okay. Very happy about this. Okay, we've reached the end of the stream. I did it. Part 1 is done. Part 1 is done. And so let it be known that I'm Clara the Impossible Girl. Love you guys. And on that note, I think we're going to end this.